Tempo is a term that is familiar to many card game veterans. The term tempo refers to the speed or pace of an activity. In card games, it is often associated with setting, maintaining, or controlling the pace of the game. Games whose cards also have a resource cost often end up supporting a style of play that revolves around tempo. That is to say that the player can focus on setting a timer on the game. The goal is to win before your opponent can establish a foothold or execute their game plan. The tempo style doesn't have to be about blind aggression, but simply has to be about being the one who dictates the speed at which the game is going. It's like being the pace car on a racetrack. In Gwent, however, cards don't cost resources. Players can play only one card per turn, and they can play any card at any time in the game. With no health totals for either player, the rules of the game dictate the actual speed of play. Yet, this doesn't absolve Gwent from having tempo-based plays. Tempo is still a very important concept in Gwent, and it manifests itself in the strength of the cards played. Card advantage should always be on your mind when you're playing Gwent. If you want to know more about card advantage, I discuss the importance of it in another video. One of the easiest ways to get card advantage is to counter low tempo plays with high tempo plays and then pass around. Your opponent will have to play multiple cards to catch up, thus putting them at a card disadvantage for future rounds. In order for this to make sense, we have to first identify what are considered low tempo and what are considered high tempo plays. Typically, low tempo plays are cards that are worth a small amount of strength up front. Cards like this are typically balanced by offering the potential of high strength gains later or persistent strength in future rounds. Cards like Neckers or the Mahakam Defenders are good examples of low tempo plays. These cards are initially worth a small amount of strength. They make up for it in power level by persisting through rounds, amplifying themselves with any buffs that they receive. High tempo plays, in contrast, are cards that give you a big burst of strength. Good examples of high tempo plays would be the Witcher cards or the Crone cards. These cards play their counterparts from their deck when they're played, and that results in a high amount of strength for your single play of, one card. So if your opponent can't keep up with the burst of strength, it means that they have to give up the round or be at a big disadvantage for future rounds because they had to give up card advantage in order to overtake the strength advantage that you just established. So to kind of see what I'm talking about, let's go ahead and take a look at a clip so that we can see an example. In this clip, my opponent is trying to play an Axeman in order to gain massive strength as the round goes on. It starts as a low tempo play because it's only worth 4 strength. This card requires other things to happen before it can grow. If left unchecked, this card can result in my opponent getting 15 or even 20 or more strength from this one card. But right now, it's considered a low tempo play because it's only worth 4 strength. So to counter this, I first punish it by removing it, and then after he plays it the second time, I react by playing the Witcher cards. So again, these give us a big burst of strength, and this jump in strength means that he can't efficiently catch up unless the round drags out. So he decides that he's going to start playing spies in anticipation of forfeiting the round, and as such, we just pass. Learning to play around tempo takes time. You have to understand the decks that are being played on the ladder and anticipate the cards that they might play against you. Passing against monsters when you're up by 21 in a round might seem like an easy choice, but if they haven't played the Crones yet, you might be punished. So utilizing tools like Gwent Tracker can also help, as you'll be able to easily reference what your opponent has played yet, and then make assumptions about what they have not yet played. So the idea of tempo in Gwent is a little bit more complex in other games because it requires you to understand deck lists and card interactions so that you can properly anticipate what your opponent has to do in order to catch up in strength. That being said, I hope this quick introduction to the concept helps to point you in the right direction, and as always, thanks for watching.